There we go. Hi everyone, Steve Brown from Swansea Business Marketing, and today I'm here with Neil from Property Buyers. So first of all, good afternoon, Neil. How are you?
Good afternoon, Steve. I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Listen, I heard about an interesting project that you're getting involved with, which I believe you call Project 368. And the reason I was interested was I was told this is a project you're going to buy and then just sell on, which is not what I normally associate you with. I normally associate you with buying property to rent. So what's particularly different about this property?
Okay, so this one's got a little bit of history on it. This one started off as there was another investor who got in touch with me who wanted to go and buy some properties, and he was particularly looking for properties to buy and then sell on.
Right.
So we went out. I took him out for the day. We went and did we went and did a bit of shopping, house shopping.
Yeah.
Looked at quite a few houses, and we found this one particular product that it's a house that would work really well for him. So he went off to buy the house, and some 2 or 3 months passed by, and nothing really happened. The agents were getting fed up, the solicitors were getting fed up. I was getting calls from them saying, "What's going on with this fella?"
Right.
And in the end, they pulled the property from him, saying that you're just messing us around. And then they came to me and said, "Right, do you want it?" So I said, "Okay, we can do the same as the formula worked for him, so it's going to work for us as well." So we decided that we'll buy the property and we'll sell it.
So you say it's interesting you just said that. So you said the formula worked for him and it's going to work for you. So if you're buying a property to sell on, what are you actually looking for in a property to do that? Because are you looking for something dilapidated, or are you looking for something that just needs a bit of work? What sort of measurables do you use?
There are a few things they're very similar to what we do when we buy to rent. It's really looking to see if a property's run down. I think with this particular property, it had an older lady lived in there for a long time. Somebody's gran had lived there for maybe 30, 40 years. She'd moved on to a home or moved back in with a family. So the place was really quite dated. It wasn't in a bad way or anything, but
Right.
the carpets are a little bit old-fashioned. There's a green toilet, the avocado toilet, that kind of thing. The kitchen's not been done for a long time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't in a bad situation. You could probably live in there now if you were happy with that kind of situation. But really, there's not a lot to do in there other than what we're going to do is we're going to put a new kitchen in, a new bathroom, paint and decorate and carpets, and do the garden really well.
Right. So how do you know, in a situation like that, how do you actually know that there's enough equity in the house for you to be able to afford to do the kitchen and all the changes that you're going to make?
Okay, there's never any guarantees, but what we do is a lot of due diligence. We do a lot of background work looking at other properties that may have sold on that road or in that area, what the demand's like for that area. We'll talk to some of the agents and find out what they've sold for. We go to an agent and say, if we gave you this house in a good condition and a lovely condition, all done up, what do you think you could sell it for? A lot of that. You can do a lot of things to try and reduce the risk. You can't completely get rid of the risk because nobody knows. It might turn out to be a complete dog or whatever, it might end up that we can't sell it. But we really will. We do as much as we possibly can to make sure we will.
Right. When you mentioned the agents, then it's an interesting question, because I personally got my property up for sale now, and I find that when the agents come out, you'll get somebody, and I'll make figures up, you'll get somebody who'll say, "Oh, it's worth 250,000, right to the other extreme where somebody says it's worth 180,000, and you'll be lucky if you get that. So when you're saying about valuations of agents, how accurate are they, or do you go by trust, people you know?
Okay, well, I've built up some really good relationship with a couple of agents. So when I ask them for valuations or for property prices, I'd be asking them for actually what will they sell for, not what you think it might sell for. When they came to your house to do a valuation, you had 3 different agents come in. They would have said something like, "Oh, you'll go for 100,000, another one at 110, another 105." But what they're trying to do is get your business. Effectively, they want you to sign up to them so they'll get the commission. So they're trying to work out what ticks your boxes. If it's that you want more money for your property, then you're more likely to go for the person that tells you it's worth more.
That's right.
It doesn't always work that way. It's better to go with an agent who knows the market well and really has a good can get a lot of people viewing your property.
Okay. Well, it is an interesting question for you then, because you were just saying that you could spend money on this property now, doing the kitchen, etc., investing in the property, and then you can't sell it for a quick sale. Would that be something then you'd have to try and consider renting to try and get some kind of income from it, or is renting it actually creating a bigger problem because now you can't sell it because you've got tenants?
No, it's quite weird you say that, because I've done this before where I bought a property and I thought this is definitely a property I can do up and sell and make a profit on.
Yeah.
I had every intention of doing that, and then suddenly someone came along and wanted to rent it for me, and it actually worked out better for me to rent it, because
Right.
what happened there was we had three boys want to rent it, so we rented it to 3 individuals for an individual amount, which worked out higher than a family rent would be.
Right.
So actually that property I was going to sell, I never did.
Yeah.
So, but when we do look at properties, we always look at both options. What will it sell for? And if we can't sell it, can we rent it and at least cover our costs?
Yes.
So, you know, everybody's talking at the moment, the property market's going up, it's all over the news, there's a boom coming. So, you know, realistically, whether that's going to happen or not, who knows?
That's
But if we buy a property and we think we can flip it, or which is what it's selling it on, we also look at what happens if we can't. So if the mortgage is going to cost us £400 or something, we make sure we can rent it for sort of £500 or £600, so we're at least covering our costs. You know, and that's also, I've done that with this property as well. Yeah.
Right. So what I'd like to do then, Neil, if you don't mind, is if you can get some photographs done and some videoing done of the property in progress, so you know that people that that are following you and on your club, etc., they can see what's happening, they can see a real property in progress and what really happens to it. And if you can share that, without going into too much specifics, but if you can actually share what's happening with the property and the work you're doing, the investment you put in, and what you really get back out of it, whether it be rental or selling, so that they can share the story and get some confidence from it. Could you do that for us?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take some photos of how it is now. I'll do some pictures and videos, maybe even of what we're doing to it, and definitely happy to share that. No problem at all.
Well, thank you very much, Neil. So, guys, but Neil here from Property Bionet, and Neil, I want to thank you again for sharing your time with us, and we'll see everybody in the next video. Cheers, Neil.
You're welcome. Goodbye.